Here's a quick follow-up to the charts we sent out last night, the ones we were watching for a potential bounce. STLD is one of them. We try to follow up and show you, what we did during the session the day after we sent out. X US Steel was another one. Let me use 15-minute candles. Show you the intraday chart. Okay, now typically we'll take a bounce play on the break of the 30-minute high, right? But what happened here? US Steel X had a low of 40.40 early and a high. These are 15-minute candles, so the 30-minute high was 41.68. So now it had to run, $1.20 something off of its lows just to get to the trigger. So it was just too extended to me, and I couldn't, in good conscience or just using the methodology I teach, I just couldn't call it here. So even though it broke its early high, which would have been 41.69. I didn't have a clean place for a tight stop. So yeah, it ran to 41.93, and if anyone took the high of day break, I suppose they could have sold it for a quick profit. But if I don't have a clean place for a stop, I just won't call an entry. Same with STLD. By the time this broke its early high of 14.56 right here, it had an early low of 13.72, and that's just too far for it to travel for me to call it up here. Now 14.56 ran pretty quickly to 14.85, so again, you could have had a scalp there. I just didn't have a tight enough place for a stop, so didn't take either one of those. A couple highlights from today. NRG was one that the first one I called today, actually, based on intraday. I know this wasn't on our watch list, but it formed one of my favorite setups, and using a method we teach in our chat room, 25.62 was the entry, which was all the way down here, and it ended up making it all the way to 26.40. So that was I called just very few today. What happened was he had the big market sell-off yesterday, and so today was just a consolidation day. I mean, the end of the day, the Dow's down 21 points after all this. The red line here is the S&P. After all this bouncing around, really just looks like a flat day, and didn't have a lot of opportunities to trade unless you took something very early because of the gap down. A lot of things gapped down and ran all morning. But again, I can't take something in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes after a big sell-off like yesterday. So I did see some members making some early trades. My method on a day following that kind of sell-off yesterday is to sit on my hands for the first 30 minutes and wait for setups to appear. So NRG was the first call of the day and ended up being very nice. And then we had an afternoon call. One of our members spotted a setup that we teach on Visa, and using the methods we teach, 66.70 was the entry. And this thing ran, caught it very near the bottom of the day, and this thing ran all the way to 67.82. So that's a nice late day trade there. And Visa really never looked back at our stop once it triggered. So that was another nice one. So that's the highlights from today. Again, some of the bounce plays, even though they took out their 30-minute high, just couldn't find an entry on them. And everything we do is based on a low-risk setup. So if something's breaking a 30-minute high, but I have no clean place for a stop, I'm simply going to let it go. I've seen 1,000 stocks in my life run without me, even though I had them on watch. If I couldn't find a clean entry, and they run anyway, you have to get good at saying, well, guess what? It's going to run without me. There'll be other trades. I'm here every day, so I'll always find something else. So the trick is, in my opinion, not to chase and not to take dangerous entries. And so if I can't find a solid entry, I won't take it. So hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we'll try to send you out some more charts next week.